Christopher Nolan is f***ing overrated as hell.
Where is this going?
I think that musicals are musicals and movies are movies, and they should be separate.
You're saying La La Land shouldn't exist. All right, welcome back to another episode of IndieFilm Insider. I'm Owen Carr, DP and producer, here with...
Jake Bell, director and writer, and today we're back with another episode of the IndieFilm Insider podcast. Now today we're going to be discussing something great. We're going to discuss movie hot takes. And I got a hot take
You
already.
got one? You got one already? All right,
Yeah.
let's hear it.
Okay, so you know our last film, I Study People for a Living?
Yeah. I think
I'm
it's
gonna
pretty
be real.
good.
I'm gonna be real. It's absolute dog shit.
Wow.
I don't know, from like a storytelling standpoint, like I just really couldn't come up with anything interesting.
Now that I think about it, man, we could have done so
there's
much
a reason
more.
Zach Dart got Best Actor, because nothing else in this film is worth it.
He kind of carried the entire thing, like production, everything. Only him.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. Oh shit.
We've been got.
Okay, if you're confused on
guys.
what's going on, yes, it is I, Ryan Sagun, back for a third fucking episode of this show.
I don't know how he keeps coming back. I mean,
Yeah.
Who's hiring
I'm
this guy?
trying
Who's
my
bringing
hand,
him
I'm showing
here?
the actual name.
I'm Carson Bain. I was on a prior episode, only one episode.
It's true.
And
we're here with your host.
Jake Ross Bell. So what are you guys talking about over here?
Nothing crazy.
Nothing?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Nothing too important. But we are going to be discussing movie hot takes today. We're going to be talking
right.
about some of your favorite film franchises and stuff like that, as well as maybe like a little bit of production stuff. But we'll see where the day takes us.
All right. Well, I got one.
Okay.
all right, let's hear it. Let's start it off.
I think the film Vigilant Justice is actually a masterpiece, and it should be in the Oscars right now.
Wow.
That's
All
my
right,
hot take.
Oscar people, if you're hearing this,
You see, it has to play in a movie theater for it to qualify for the Oscars, and we never got that. So it's not really an Oscar.
He kind of did. He got a little private screen.
No. Oh god, I did a job interview a couple days ago, and one of the interviewers go, "Oh yeah, I watched Vigilant Justice."
Oh,
and I was
oh, shit.
I was like, "Hey, so I made that between my sophomore and junior year."
God.
Got very defensive. He was like,
You got
"No,
a
it's
fan.
funny." Yeah, no, he thought it was very funny, but I was like, I got concerned, man.
Is it because you had it linked in your
Yeah, it's on
little
my
background
portfolio
check?
side. It is a good thing to have on the portfolio. I just am like, there's a lot of filmmaking stuff I know I'm better at
so
now.
did you end up getting that job?
We'll see. We'll see. It was a third round interview. I'm waiting to
Oh,
hear
wow.
back. Yeah. It was
Vigilant Justice might carry you all the way.
a crazy concept.
It's a good thing to be known for. So,
Jake, what's an actual hot take?
actual
you have,
hot
though?
take?
Yeah.
are we just jumping right into it?
Yeah,
let's
might
go.
as
All
well.
right, this is an attack on an entire genre.
Okay.
I'm very hesitant to say it actually because I
Well,
again,
too bad.
Okay, so first off, for just like to set the rules, the last time we did this, Owen and I did filmmaking hot takes.
Yeah.
Today we're doing like you said, movie hot takes.
Mhm.
And the rule starting out is that there can't be any fence sitting or like a neutral position declared. Like you have to, if I say a hot take, you have to either agree or disagree.
Okay.
You can't be like, in some cases I agree or in some cases I disagree. It's got to be like just,
A
either
hard
or.
yes or no.
You gotta go 100%. So I think musicals should stay in the theater.
Oh.
And they should not be
Oh.
again, even for me, like this is I gotta
Where is this going?
100%, with the take. I think movies should, so basically, I think that musicals are musicals and movies are movies and they should be separate. And the musical genre in movies should not exist because it is a subversion of what cinema truly is. Now, what do you guys think on
No,
that?
so here's my thing. Like, cinema is just showing, it's the object of moving pictures. So I don't think there's anything that actually technically doesn't qualify in that term, including musicals, which they do choreography and storytelling and all this stuff. They just add a musical element to it. So I don't know if I'd necessarily agree with the idea that they should stay out of theaters.
What musical hurt you?
Yeah, which one specifically?
It's just a genre. I think a part of it comes from me not. I like when a story is grounded in a way, and I think that a musical, it'll have because a lot of times also musicals will have dramatic scenes where it's like a normal movie playing out, and then randomly you'll hear and then they'll jump into song and dance.
Okay, so you don't like it when the musical doesn't really fit, the music doesn't make sense to the story, because I think for example music, because that's just one type of musical. There are musicals that are the music is part of the story and it is something that's actively happening. And there's musicals where the the musical elements of it are meant to show like a character's like kind of mental. So like one film I think of is Dancer in the Dark. I believe that's the name of the film.
With Bjork.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
And
actually.
that one, like the musical elements in that are meant to show like her kind of mental state.
Yeah.
And all this. But it's none of it's real. But the point is, it's not meant to be real. It's just her mental state, and like that that works in the concept of like this is a film, you know. But I can also agree though, like a film like Joker Folie à Deux should not exist.
I was gonna mention Joker.
Yeah.
That I've actually not seen that, so
I haven't either. But
Yeah, I haven't either.
shitting
But I
on it
know that
'cause
there's musical parts in it, and I'm not keen to view that. But like, what are your opinions on like La La Land? That means you're saying La La Land shouldn't exist. You're saying Steven Spielberg's West Side Story shouldn't exist.
I've seen La La Land. I haven't seen West Side Story. I do like La La Land. You know, I don't know.
But your point clearly states La La Land is a pure musical. There's multiple musical sections in that movie.
Yeah.
And also, musical can be a subgenre. I think of like Pop Star by Andy Samberg, which is a musical mockumentary where like the entire joke is that he's a musician who is like an absolutely terrible person, and the music's a part of it. So like, I guess, are you looking at more like musicals like that just it doesn't fit the narrative, or?
I mean, yeah, I just mean more musicals that are like basically what you see on like in the theater as a movie. Not like necessarily adaptations, but like like La La Land would qualify because it is like there's there's choreography, there's dancing. A movie though where like it is like about like a band, for example, and there's a lot of songs they play.
Yeah.
That necessarily wouldn't qualify because I think that like it's a movie about musical people as opposed to it being a musical. It definitely can be a musical though, but I don't know. I guess.
Do you have any specific examples that you can give us of like what's causing this reaction?
I will say he's ruining a whole generation of Disney kids right now. Like he's calling them out. The High School Musical fans are not gonna like this.
It's just because like, you know, in real life you're not gonna see people break out into song and dance, and I think that they like that's just, I don't know. I do like when a story is very grounded.
What you're saying.
Flash mob comes in.
Flash mob comes in. Yeah.
It's just my opinion, man.
No, it's a valid
okay.
opinion. I can agree to that dependent on the film. I think like something like La La Land where like it's very well like intentioned and like very much a part of the story, like and how that story is told. I think that's useful. But I can agree that like a film where like there's just a random musical number in the middle of it, it does throw you off a little bit. Especially when it's like a film where it doesn't have many musical numbers, that can throw you off even more.
Yeah. So again, I hope that was hot.
That was pretty hot.
I think it's a hot take.
Starting off strong.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just another thing too is I wanted to say the last time we did this, Owen, we did a thing where we put a clip of Owen saying like cinematography is more important than story, and some guy was like, hey, this is not a hot take because a hot take has to have value, and it can't be like so bad that it's instantly dismissed. Like you can just instantly dismiss it as garbage. Yeah. And I was like, okay, a hot take is something that you don't agree with. You can't just say it's like, and it has no value because you don't like it. I
remember seeing that clip, and it was a little bit more in the context of like indie filmmaking. Of, like,
it was definitely taken out of context.
Of like cinematography is more important in the sense of like for like, you know, if you're trying to show off a film and you're like smaller person. Yeah, I agree. But I do agree with the opposite though, in that like, I mean, we talked about in the very first episode of this, like a good story. You don't care about the cinematography. I think about like Blair Witch Project, for example.
For sure, yeah.
That one, like this, I wouldn't call that good cinematography.
I'd argue it is, but wait, that's another point.
I mean, but you get what I mean. Like, it's not made to be like cinematic. Yeah. You know, it's made to be.
It's a style.
It's a style. Yeah. But
yeah, no, it was taken out of context, and then like I got into an argument with the guy in the comments because I was like, what is a hot take to you definitionally? And he was like, a hot take, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, just because you're like, you don't like the take doesn't mean you can't say it's not a hot take. That's what a hot take is. A hot take, it is a hot take because you don't like it.
In fact, that would be like the definition of a hot take.
Yeah, and so yeah, he was like,
do you have his username? Let's call him out directly.
Let's call him out directly.
You can find it in the comments on the Instagram. But I remember I went to the Oxford Dictionary. Yeah, Dean Garcia. I went to the Oxford Dictionary, copied and pasted it, and put it in there. And a hot take literally is just a take that goes against like the mainstream, and it is like divisive or whatever. And the guy never responded after I put the definition. So
don't you just love it when you prove them right? Prove them wrong, and they just go quiet.
I know it's
always so
rage
fun.
quit. Anyway, I don't want to drag too long.
I also feel like we didn't really mention it. Owen's away this episode. He hasn't been replaced. He just is currently being held hostage by me and Carson.
Yeah.
So
he's
in
in an
Massachusetts.
undisclosed area.
We won't disclose where.
Yeah,
we won't disclose where he is in Boston. So
no, we won't disclose his address at the Quahog Brewery. So
yeah,
that's Rhode Island.
Fuck, it's Rhode Island.
I made a terrible Family Guy reference because I don't watch that show enough.
Hey, Peter.
Yes,
we're gonna cut that part.
We're gonna
I feel like we're steering away from the hot takes.
Who's going next? You want me to go next or you?
You could go next. Yeah.
All right. Let's do this one. Let's do I believe that the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, ruined films.
Oh no, Ryan's gonna throw his phone at you.
No. Let me explain for a second. You know, I believe that it made other franchise essentially, you know, try and be a more unified thing, try and make everything connected, and it made all other genres other than horror bomb for like the last like 20 years, because they're the only movies that would make money are Marvel movies. And before you go after me, I was a huge Marvel fan.
No,
everything post Endgame, I'm pretty mixed on and haven't seen.
I'm mixed on everything post Endgame. Let's just clarify that.
I was a huge Marvel fan, and I have all the love for it. But you know, I do think it did impact films.
I will agree to some degree. I can't say I'm firmly one way or another on this.
Well, you can't fence it.
Yeah, you can't.
Because I think there are some really I think some of the MCU films are very cinematic in the way that they're shot or told. I mean, I think fucking Infinity War, which is the craziest fucking story you could probably show on a screen. Like, it has some of the most beautiful shots and stuff
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, but I can agree with you. But by that argument though, did the Western kill film? Because the Western was I think of superhero films like the Western, where they were big for a long fucking time, and then the genre eventually died because it got oversaturated like crazy, and then new genres came out with that, and we're kind of seeing that with the MCU right now, in the sense of we've had superhero or action blockbusters for so fucking long that what are we going to start seeing new genres start to pop
we
up?
haven't yet. We're in this weird limbo phase.
We're in the limbo phase, yeah. But this year though, horror has been the big thing so far, with Weapons and Sinners and all these other films.
I think that just in general, while the MCU was in full power, it made all the other production companies be like, shit, we gotta do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that in turn made their movies less appealing to mass audiences, because they were just trying to recapture what the MCU got.
Let's hear Jake's take on this, because it's very much two of us are right next to each other.
No, I mean, I was never as much of a Marvel fan, so I can't I'm not as emotionally attached to that argument. But I agree. I think that but I also agree with what Ryan's saying too. There's every couple decades a genre dominates in the box office, and then another one, and then it dies out, and then another one comes in and takes its place. It could be because I have heard people say it could be biopics. That could be the next big thing because of Oppenheimer.
There's been so many biopics as well in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I just don't know how much. I think because they did Napoleon. They did Oppenheimer.
I mean, they've done so many. They did the Amy Winehouse one. They did
Bob Marley, Bruce Springsteen. Last year was Complete Unknown.
Bob Dylan.
Elvis.
Yeah, Bob Dylan. It's honestly, since Queen, that film happened, they've just been blowing up like crazy.
2017 or something.
But they've been crazy since then, and they're always the Oscar bait films. Those are the ones that people are getting nominated for, and it's you're playing a person who's alive now. At this point, I think maybe this is a hot take, but I think biopics should be reserved till after the person's dead. I don't think it makes sense to do a biopic when the person's still
sometimes
alive. I think for example,
the Social Network comes to mind as a good one. But
Social Network, I can agree to that one being set in the modern time because it's relevant to modern topics. But I don't know, I find it weird that we're doing I'm trying to think of a good example, the Elton John one that came out immediately afterwards. I love Elton John, but did it make sense for it to happen when he's still actively a musician who's
right?
I can understand Bob Dylan maybe a bit more because he's not as active anymore, but Elton John's literally actively making music.
That's true.
That's a bit weird to me, I should say.
So
back
Marvel
to
movies,
back to superheroes,
back to Marvel movies.
But yeah, no, I think that we definitely did see pretty much every studio trying to emulate Marvel, for better or for worse. I think honestly in the first couple of years, that was probably positive because it got people. It's probably a positive that it got people to go to movies.
Oh, a huge
you know,
positive.
like
yeah.
I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but the most interesting experience in theater was for sure, you know, watching Endgame with like a packed theater.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
everyone,
I've never
everyone was
seen that.
cheering in my theater, man.
Yeah.
Like it, and same thing with No Way Home. Like everyone was cheering when the 3 Spider-Men were on screen. Like, and that was like the year that. Sorry, that was only a few months after like all the COVID restrictions stopped as well, and you're getting like it's blown up. Like on the one hand, you could say it's like killed cinema. Like I wouldn't say it's killed cinema, but it's killed like the movie interest in other stuff right now, just because like it is so big and and to be quite frank, there is a lot of shitty Marvel films and projects where they got like barely any cinematography going on or anything like that. But like, yeah, and then at the same time, they kind of are like, you know, like I said, No Way Home made $1.5 billion after COVID. That's insane. That's saving theaters, if anything.
I think the biggest victim of this whole MCU battle was DC, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they just. I mean,
there goes on to my hot. I actually have that for my hot take next.
We'll segue into it then.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your hot take?
My hot take
DC?
is because Superman just came out. It's doing very, very well, but it only made about 500 million at the box office so far, or maybe 600 million. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the hot take is that people are thinking like the DCU is going to be the new thing that takes over after Marvel. My hot take is that the DCU will never reach the height the MCU made it to, and that. I don't know if that's a hot take, but like people thinking that the DCU is going to be as big as Marvel was when, like,
well, do they need it to be as big as Marvel?
They don't need it to be, but I think a lot of people think it's going to be. You know?
I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it'll ever reach. I don't think anything will ever reach the heights of Endgame in any movie franchise ever.
Yeah,
nothing will ever beat that. But
yeah, I agree.
I think they have a chance to kind of rekindle the flames of superhero, you know, movie viewing experiences if they have enough good projects in their pipeline that will get people interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we were talking about how the superhero genre is kind of like dying, and it's like it got oversaturated. Now it's just kind of like in a weird limbo phase.
Yeah.
DC could theoretically kind of like kick that back on and make it
like
revive
I think
it
that they
in a
have the
different
best
way.
chance too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying this having like Superman is like my second favorite film of the year. Like it definitely has that potential to grow. What
was your first?
Sinners.
Okay.
Sinners is number one.
That was good.
I'm pretty interchangeable.
It'll come back on.
Okay.
In a sec, yeah.
I'm pretty interchangeable on the two because like I think I would probably rewatch Superman before Sinners. But just out of my personal preferences. But you know, like people are expecting it to be like the next billion-dollar franchise every movie. And it's like
I mean, the next movie is Supergirl.
Next movie
and then the movie
Supergirl.
after that is Clayface. Those are not making $1 billion.
Clayface is not getting that level, you know.
I'm super excited for that one, though.
And like some of the shows, like these are the more iconic characters in superhero media. Easily, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, they're the biggest characters. But like besides them, I mean, it's the same issue that they had with Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, where like once their movies were done, nobody really cares about.
But also,
the
Iron Man wasn't a popular character.
He was,
you know, he wasn't like he was like a B tier.
Yeah.
He was like a B tier character, and because of the
that's
movie,
the thing, he was B tier. And like I'm saying that like the Avengers, like Captain America was big enough of a character that like he was recognizable, you know. And the MCU's at that point where like they're digging for people that I'm a huge comic book fan. Half the fucking characters I don't know anymore when they debut on screen. Like it's very weird.
Are you kidding me? You don't know Squirrel Girl?
I do know Squirrel Girl. I didn't know the fucking Eternals though.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
that was a pick. Chloe Zhao, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else. I think we kind of all agree with that.
Yeah.
With that take.
It wasn't that flaming hot of a take, but I saw.
Yeah.
I think James Gunn is here to save the day.
Oh, James Gunn is my favorite director as well.
Yeah,
so like that makes sense. But I think you have a hot take on James Gunn, if I remember correctly.
Do I have a hot take on James Gunn? I mean, I don't like. I don't like I don't like his films. If I'm being honest.
Crazy.
Besides the Guardians of the Galaxy, I do like those. I had a problem with the James Gunnification of Superman. I think it was a bit. There was some choices I was not a fan of, but that's not my hot take. That's not my next hot take.
What is your next hot take?
My next hot take is I think because the only genre this is going to awards. This is the Oscars again. I mean, it's probably not a hot take to say that the Oscars. No one cares about the Oscars really anymore, or that they really matter all that much anymore.
Until we're there with a film there, then it's
like, thank you so much.
We love
then
the
we
Oscars.
then we need it.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're saying, okay, I'll let you.
Well, that's not my take though. My take is that I think that it's strange that the only genre that's divided by gender is acting, because the only two genres is best supporting actor, best supporting actress, best supporting or best actor, best actress. And I think it should just be either, because you don't do, it would be weird to have best male director, best female director. So I think it should either be, and there's actually a good counter argument that I don't know if, I don't hear people talking about this also that much, but maybe it's not that big of an issue, but I think it should either be they are all separate like that, or none of them are separate like that. I think the argument though to keep it the way it is that the Oscars are notoriously not very inclusive. And so if you did make it open to everyone, women would probably win a lot less, because at least with the best actress awards, it's like a guaranteed. Yeah. It's a guaranteed person's going to win every year. So what do you guys think?
You see, like I get what he's saying, but I don't like it. No. Because like I get what you mean. Like it's more inclusive by the way that.
So you're saying they should open it up?
They should. I think that I prefer that they do open it up, because it's like it's strange to have that weird thing with just acting, but not with like the directing or production design, sound design.
I think the only one where like I'm like I think they should have a second category for is director, because I want to say like there are a lot of female directors who are very underrepresented at the Oscars every year. Like it's usually like there'll be like of the 10 best picture nominees, right? Maybe 1 or 2 are from a female director, and they might actually be the better of the films there. Yeah, but they're not going to give the best director nomination to any of the female directors, which I find odd. Like, because like there is an argument to say like, you know, okay, they pick 10 best picture films, right? And the 5 women that are nominated for best director, only 2 of them made it into the best picture category, right? So there's a question of like, it's not really a question of who's going to win that category, I guess. Yeah. But like at the same time, I do think that like the Oscars is so underrepresentative of like women and people of color and all this stuff, because it is still a bunch of old white dudes making the decisions
in the academy,
you know? So I get what you mean. Like maybe it should be split. I just don't know if that's the right solution.
Right.
Like it's not like we can just say, okay, you have to have a quota of like 3 male directors, 3 female directors.
I feel like having a quota like that would make it even harder for them to choose, because then they're like kind of, you know, reaching for stuff, and then maybe some films that were better get shut out because of the quota, and that, you know, they just needed to fill that spot.
Yeah. It's just it's hard, because like I don't, it's who we have at the top right now. I think that's the issue. It's not an issue of like what the films are. It's more of an issue of who's picking these films.
Right. And it was just made a rule too that they have to watch every film that is like nominated, which they didn't have.
It's such a crazy concept.
I know. Yeah. So they're definitely behind on like kind of everything. So I'm maybe just after the next like, you know, 20, 30 years, it'll once they kind of die out, get replaced.
We'll see if the Academy's still around.
Yeah.
Like Dune 2 winning best cinematography, right? Very deserved. But it'd be crazy if like, it's crazy to me that the concept that like half of them could have just been like, oh, that's the only film I saw. That's the reason why I won, you know?
Yeah. That's true.
Should we pause real quick and turn the lights on?
The lighting looks fine. It looks more dramatic.
If the lighting's fine on camera, then it's fine with us. You know?
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
All right, Carson, what's your next
let me pull out my
hot take?
My list here.
He's on his phone.
Yeah.
Okay. I really did like movie-centric ones, but
That's fine, yeah.
Let's do Superbad is the best teen comedy of this era, possibly of all time.
Best teen comedy. Like not best comedy, but best teen comedy.
I mean, I could throw in best comedies just to make it super hot.
Okay.
I mean, for teen comedies, I mean, I wrote down some examples. I'd say mid-90s, Project X, 8th Grade, Perks of Being Wallflower, Edge of 17. I think the biggest competitor, if we're doing like the last like 25 years or so, 2000s, would be Mean Girls. But
you see, like
in my head, I mean, they're both pretty even. I like Superbad a little bit more.
I'll let Jake answer his opinion first, because I have a take on that.
I think it's a super bad take.
Okay, thank you. I agree.
Were you gonna say that?
No, yeah. Well, you said Mean Girls.
I just
that's
had
the
to make
biggest
the pun.
competitor. I just want to say I love Mean Girls. Growing up, I rewatched that like a year or 2 ago, before the musical came out. There were some jokes in that did not age well, man. Like
woke.
Yeah.
So woke.
No, I don't know. I think it's hard to say a singular comedy is the best comedy of all time.
It is all subjective. Comedy is subjective.
Because comedy is subjective. And trust me, I love some of the scenes in Superbad. I mean, it's one of the most iconic scenes, but why the fuck was it between that and McLovin, right?
Yeah.
or Muhammad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hella funny scene, right? But I don't think every joke in that film hits for me personally.
I just think it's like the best, well-written, well-rounded. All the characters you care for, you know who these people are by the end of this hour-and-a-half long movie. You actually care about what they're going through and like the actual story of it, of them just like Jonah Hill just being sad because his friend is leaving to college without him is just like, you know, very relatable. Anybody can relate to that, leaving high school.
That's fair.
I mean, I actually hated Jonah Hill's character.
Really?
It was like he's very insufferable to me.
I think that's the point, though.
That is 100% the point.
Yeah.
But it like kind of blinded me to like any other. I think the film kind of does redeem him a little bit later. But I think besides like honestly McLovin's arc, I don't really. It's also been a while since I've seen it too. I found it hilarious when I first watched. I think I watched it twice. Yeah. And then the next time I watched it, I like kind of was like a bit not as impressed as I was the first time. Yeah. I still like it though. But kind of like what Ryan said, not every joke lands for me. But I can't necessarily think of a better. Maybe it's just because I can't think of other like teen comedies or similar genre films.
Yeah, for doing teen comedies, it's a little tough
teen comedies.
Yeah. Comedies in general. I mean, you could throw out Anchorman. You know,
I was gonna, Anchorman. This is a deep cut, but Hot Rod. If anyone knows that film, that one's one of my personal favorite comedies. But again, and that humor fits my style of comedy a lot more. So like, I think that's what the difference.
I have Will Ferrell in my head, but Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights is. Yeah,
are. You could argue there are funnier movies out there, but just in terms of like teen comedies.
No, I could maybe agree with your argument, but I will agree. I do agree with Jake in that sense of like when I think back on Superbad, everything is like McLovin related, and what's funny, Jonah Hill and Michael Cera's characters, I don't remember being particularly too interested in their story while watching. You know, like but that's just me. That's just me.
That is just you.
Just you.
All right.
What's your take, Ryan?
You see, so I thought we were doing filmmaking hot takes, so I didn't have that much time to come up with movie hot takes.
Just throw out the best one you have.
Huh?
Throw out the best, hottest take you have.
Well, I have one more movie hot take. Please don't kill me, guys. Christopher Nolan is fucking overrated as hell.
Do I know what my next hot take was?
What was it?
Christopher Nolan is overrated as hell.
Okay, maybe it's not that hot of a take. Look. He is a fantastic director. I cannot deny a lot of the stuff that he has done, especially with in terms of like the commitment to practicality he has with his films. Like, it's amazing. But like when I think about like actual like storytelling, because he writes a lot of these films as well, and that is important for his direction. Some of them he makes some really stupid decisions. Like, I love The Dark Knight. It's a great film, right? But like, of that trilogy of 3 Batman films, Batman's not really a fucking detective, right? He makes a stupid ass decision in The Dark Knight Rises to call the cop guy Robin, and at the end of it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And like, there's just he makes weird decisions in terms of that. Oppenheimer, which is was the film he won Best Picture for. I couldn't fucking track it when I watched it the first time in the theater. There was it cut so fucking quickly at times that I can't even really take in all the dialogue that's coming into it because it's going between 3 different time periods. And yes, that could be an argument of like, I'm not paying attention enough or something like that, even though I was sat in that movie theater on Barbenheimer watching that film as hard and trying to focus the entire fucking time. But like, and I am making an argument in terms of like writing here, but I just think as a director, like he's not always the best when it comes to it. Okay.
I think Nolan, I'd argue that his writing is, you know, sometimes not up to par with the best writing. But who else is making movies where the entire movie-going audience will go out no matter what the movie is? Not many directors are out there that everybody has bought tickets to see The Odyssey on opening night a year before it's come out.
I'm saying
people
all this...
were excited for Tenet, and that shit was coming out in like June of 2020. Nobody was able to go see the movies, but they went out to see Tenet, even though the sound mixing on that movie's ass. I couldn't understand.
That's been a big issue for him.
I saw the movie in a drive-in theater. So imagine that terrible audio mix coming in through Honda Odyssey speakers.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, never again. But
and I think I am saying this like wanting to see the Odyssey, but so badly. By the way,
his scope and style of movie is honestly, I don't see other directors doing like that scale of movie. Like Dark Knight, I can't see anybody else doing a Dark Knight style movie. I know Matt Reeves did the Batman, but it's a different take on Batman.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like Inception, Who the fuck would think of Inception? Like, that's a crazy ass movie that I think only Nolan could have only Nolan could have made.
No, I can agree to that. I'm saying from like just like in general though, I don't think his directing. Yes, you are making the argument that people are going out to see him in the theaters just for his name. I mean, hell, that when they announced the Odyssey, it was Christopher Nolan's next film, The Odyssey. That's like the way that they were introducing it. So he is big enough of a name that like he's getting that recognition because people love a lot of his films. But like of the films I have seen, which are, I think there's 4, and it's basically the Dark Knight films and Oppenheimer.
Oh, you've only seen 4 of his movies?
Yeah, well, and the Dark Knight's like the one that and Oppenheimer are the 2 best ones.
Get
and
out of here.
I'm
Get
like,
out of here. Your opinion is
right.
invalid. Your opinion is invalid.
How many has he made?
He has 11.
He's made quite a bit.
I've seen, I believe, all of them except for Memento. Big blind spot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have not seen Memento.
To be fair,
I've seen Memento.
Haven't seen like Interstellar.
Okay, so like Interstellar and Inception. People have a lot of problems with those movies, right?
But well, now we're talking about problems with the movies, and he's the director.
But I don't think that makes him over.
Yeah.
You know.
Ooh.
He just went ooh.
Okay, come on.
What?
Yeah, come on.
Okay, wait. Actually, okay. I think I'm
not a Nolan shill over here. Like,
no.
He's not my favorite director, but
no, for sure. I mean, this is actually because I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast before, but as Owen and I talk about this a lot, I don't actually like Christopher Nolan as a director sometimes, but I think like every now and then it clicks really well. I think Interstellar, another problem I have is that I think he's much more focused on the story than he is on the characters sometimes, not all the time. But like Interstellar, I think is like one of his best character. Like I don't know, it's just like the visuals of that with like, you know, seeing, you know, like your daughter and aid, like the time stuff that's going on is like so like is like I think really well captured. But I think a lot of his characters are like weak, and sometimes the dialogue is a bit like quippy in a way. Like I felt Oppenheimer was just like 3 hours of just like cool quips that were kind of happening throughout the movie, where it's just like, and it also kind of felt very Marvel-y, like, ooh, Oppenheimer walks in and then Einstein's right there, and Einstein's like, hey, I got a message, I got a task for you.
It does feel like if you threw like a fucking Marvel soundtrack underneath it. I think of like the Endgame trailer when like they reveal like Hawkeye as Ronin, like that moment.
It's like the fucking Leo meme. It's like the fucking Leo meme when Einstein walks in. He's like,
yeah, exactly. All right, the lights are back on now. Very, very nice.
It was me scooting backwards a little bit.
Yeah, they are motion detector lights. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. I think that Christopher Nolan has sometimes weak characters, especially with women. I think he has very weak women sometimes. Again, I think
and speaking
Oppenheimer
of
was a bit of an exception.
No, Oppenheimer, dude, the Florence Pugh's barely in that film.
Okay, well, Florence Pugh was not a great example, but yeah, like, I liked Emily Blunt's character. I think
she was fine. I don't like, she had that great moment where she like doesn't shake the guy's hand. But yeah, like,
these are real people. I mean, they can only work off it so much, you know. It's based on a true story.
It's based on a true story, but then it has like stuff with like that conversation with Oppenheimer and Einstein never happened, you know. Like that was completely fictional. So they had a plenty of liberty to.
Yeah, he actually made a point to say the black and white scenes are objective and the scenes in color are subjective. Like these are scenes that really happened versus scenes that didn't actually happen, or at least in this way. So
I think Ryan, I don't think you should speak until you watch some other Nolan movies.
I've watched 4. I think that's makes me qualified, man.
3 of them are Batman.
Yeah,
which are unlike his other movies. I'd argue they're almost
and like
his most different.
Okay,
movies.
We're just gonna get into Nolan debate.
Well, we can get off of this.
Watch The Prestige next. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I will say I do want to see The Prestige, Interstellar, Inception. I just
watch all of them, man. Yeah. Just do a binge. You know, put it on one night, stay up all night.
Should I watch Tenet, or is that one?
Yeah, it's got good scenes.
Put it towards the end though. I would say watch the other like some of the other ones first.
The opening with the opera house is really cool.
No, Tenet has some cool scenes, and it's like very.
The concept is cool.
His
concepts are cool. Yeah. That's what makes him an interesting director to me. Is that his concepts that he comes up with are cool, and I want to go see that.
That's true.
Yeah,
but I think sometimes it's like a bit just like oh, crazy idea. I'm gonna throw it on there, and everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, I don't understand it. It's so smart, and then like it's not really that smart at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, no, Tenet's. I mean, the idea.
The idea is cool,
that. But like the execution of it was not very cool.
I agree.
Okay, Jake, anyway. Carry on with our next hot take.
Well, that was my next hot take. Actually, is that Christopher Nolan is is a bit overrated.
All right, I'll do one then. Moana is the last best Disney animated movie, and I will tell you the last ones. This is not including Pixar.
It doesn't include
This
Pixar.
is not including Pixar because then you would have Coco and arguably Inside Out 2.
Yeah, because Coco, Inside Out 2, like.
But I'll tell you the last ones. So we got after Moana, we have Ralph Breaks the Internet, Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, Onward, Raya and the Last Dragon, Encanto, Strange World, Elemental, Wish, Moana 2, and Elio. And I've not seen Elio, but I've seen all the other ones.
I've seen Encanto, so and that's a great film. So I would disagree on it being the last good film. I personally like Encanto.
So you disagree? So
I
you
disagree.
think...
Yeah. They made like that film was fucking great, and I can't fucking we don't talk.
I just
about
think
Bruno.
I haven't like I don't think that Disney has reached the heights of Moana ever since the animation, the music,
I agree.
the story of it, the characters.
I could agree on the height part of it, though. I could agree on that. Yeah.
I actually haven't seen. So I honestly didn't realize this, but I guess I haven't seen anything since Moana. I never watched Frozen 2. I never watched Moana 2.
You didn't
Never
watch any of those movies that
I
I
haven't
listed?
seen any that you listed.
Oh my god!
And I think that
How are you hosting a podcast,
but
man?
there's a
It's
there's
truly
a-
IndieFilm Insider.
Wait, you're not
reporting
watching
all
movies on
I'm not
movies?
watching
Big
well, it's
budget
called
films.
IndieFilm Insider.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
only
yeah.
watching indie films. No mainstream media
Yes, exactly.
in this.
That's why
house.
Vigilant Justice is his favorite film.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I did see a statement from someone in Disney who did say something about like if you want, because everyone's been kind of like badgering Disney to make original films. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
stop making these remakes, stop making these reboots with like CGI, like Lion King, whatever. And then someone at Disney said, okay, if you want original stories, then why have our sales like gone way down?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
But again, an
Yeah.
original story doesn't mean that it's automatically like a must-see film. And I think that's what they're kind of missing out on. Is like everything that you just mentioned. Like I never even heard of some of them. Like I never heard of the
I
Last
was gonna
Dragon
say
one.
like Elio, like which is one of their
that was the most recent one.
most recent
That came
one,
out,
and had a
like,
ton of money.
a couple months ago.
They did not fucking market that.
No, they didn't.
Strange New Worlds, which I heard wasn't that great to begin with,
I only
but
watched half of it.
but I didn't even know it was coming out until like the day it came out, because I saw a trailer that was like now in theaters. I was like, what the fuck is this? I think in terms of like Disney's like original films, they just don't market them, and
Yeah.
because they don't expect them to do well. Versus like they know that the other existing IP films will do.
But
well
that's what
at
I'm
box
saying
office,
is that their last animated movies, sequel or original,
yeah.
haven't been good enough. So especially the original ones, they
Yeah.
can't market them because they themselves know they're not that good.
But
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know,
true.
man. Like I said, I thought Encanto was great. But granted, I want to say Encanto, I think, came out during the pandemic era, so that
I think
one,
it was 21, but
Yeah,
so
but
yeah,
21
like,
was
yeah,
still
it was-
okay,
it-
yeah.
I think I saw it on Disney Plus.
yeah.
So-
If it released on Disney Plus during that time, then it didn't really stand a chance to make that money. You know?
Is Zootopia Pixar?
No, it's not.
That's
But it came out
Disney?
in like 2016.
It came out before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have Zootopia 2 coming out this
Which-
year, though.
I don't know. That one doesn't look
It'll be
bad.
fun.
I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
Yeah,
It looks interesting. I saw the trailer. It's like they're now buddy cops.
And and like the little snake, like it's like a reptiles.
yeah,
in
it's
it now.
Ki Kwan.
They
doing
kind
the
of like
voice,
added.
which-
They added like new
yeah.
animals, like reptiles, and I don't think reptiles were in the first one, which is
No, I don't think so.
a strange thing to. I don't know. I
I
don't know why.
Watch that movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do. Zootopia is like I do think it's one of their better ones. Like
Yeah.
obviously, like it's a really good one. Well, do you guys know what their last like 2D and like hand
their
drawn?
last hand drawn one was the Princess and the Frog in
Yeah.
2013.
Oh, wow.
They stopped. They moved away from animation at that point.
I
shame.
did hear a rumor that they might be doing that in like the next like 5 or so years, like doing another like 2. I think just
Yeah.
to like revive like
That'd be
nostalgia.
great because
that'd be cool.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of 2D animation that is fucking excellent.
Yeah.
And honest, you know,
I mean, rewatching Princess and the Frog, that shit.
this wasn't a hot take. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but like 3D animation, man, I don't. Why do we move away from 2D animation so much? Like 3D
Yeah.
animation is good. Don't get me wrong, but like watching something that was like hand drawn, or at least like drawn in some capacity compared to like the 3D models, sometimes like it just looks better.
We
a
got
lot
the
of the time.
DC animated movie still kicking.
Dude, that's why I've been rewatching. This isn't a movie, but I've been rewatching Young Justice from
Yeah.
like seasons 1 and 2, and that shit is like peak fucking
Yeah.
animation. And it's like I'd rather watch that than a 3D animated movie, like majority of the time. Granted, I know 3D animation now they can make stuff look like 2D animation, specifically like Spider-Verse films. Those are a blending of
Yeah, it's like a
3D and
mix, yeah.
2D animation, right? But Like, I'm like, why did we move away from that as a
I know.
society, dude?
I agree, and I think like 2D like hand drawn animation is so much more emotionally like grabbing. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I'm more attached to like someone spent time.
It's
Actually,
like
a team of people
the
spent
more they
time.
make the animated movies look like realistic, the less I feel
Yeah.
attached to the character.
And it's also like
the water graphics are super realistic in this. It's like, okay, but like
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And there's evidence of it still working. I mean, like, okay, granted, this show does not fucking put enough effort in the like most of its season for me to say this, but like Invincible, for example, they
I just saw.
Bum, bum, bum.
I just started that, by the way.
yeah.
Oh, it's so
I'm on
good.
episode 2. Oh wait.
First-
You're on the
Okay,
first
I started
season.
yesterday.
You're on the first season?
Like literally
Okay.
yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I want to say
Yeah.
the first season ramps up, like, because I remember watching that first episode and going like, oh, this is whatever, and then that ending happens.
So yeah, okay. So I was exactly what I was thinking. I was
Invincible
watching
discussion
this
happening now.
I was like, what the fuck? Why is everyone obsessed with the show? It's kind of like stupid. And then it just like the tone shift towards the end. I was like, okay, that's
yeah,
cool.
because I remember watching. I'm like, oh, this is just like Superman, like Smallville type of thing.
Yeah.
And then Omni-Man comes in killing everyone. And I'm
yeah,
like, what?
yeah.
And then the show like from there ramps up the fucking storytelling. To be fair, season 2 of that show though, they did not put money in that. I get it's because they went from like outsourcing to trying to build their own studio.
Well, they had that weird like divide in between the season.
That's what it was. They
and-
got renewed and they decided to make. Robert Kirkman made it. I don't know what the official name of the studio is. I'm just gonna call it Kirkman Studios, and they only have like a team of like X amount of people essentially. And it was basically half the amount of people of the Amazon team, and they were building everything up that during that second season. The third season has a noticeable shift in the quality of animation.
And then they had a fourth, right? That was the most.
They're
recent
working
one.
on the fourth one.
Okay,
right now.
the third
fourth
one
is
was
out.
the one with.
I think is it Skybound Studios or
It
something
might be
like that?
Skybound Studios.
I think that's what it is.
Unless that's the game. I think that might be the game.
Well, because Telltale, they were doing The Walking Dead. I think he made a company to like revive it because they like went bankrupt during like the last Walking Dead game.
But like my point being though is
yeah.
Invincible, like the animation in that show, especially in season 3, like Jake, you're not there, but I mean, I'm just gonna say Conquest. That fucking episode, holy shit! And I mean, like again, like here's the division of labor. Maybe don't have that one shot where his hair is fucking waving like crazy. There's one shot in that episode, Jake, where like it's like they animated every single fucking frame of his head like moving with his hair, and it's
That's
like.
cool.
Why the fuck did you spend so much time on this one specific like 10-second moment?
For impact.
But like like I mean like I love that show, but versus like 3D animated shows, I'm not as keen to go watch anything or movies. I'm not as keen to go watch them as I am like a 2D animation.
Exactly. Is that all of our takes?
I mean,
You got one more?
I have actual filmmaking related takes.
If you wanted to throw one in there,
Yeah,
real
let's
quick.
throw one in there just for the hell of it.
We'll
We'll make it a shorter episode.
Yeah.
I have like 3, and I think they're all good. I'll talk to you guys afterwards.
Well, you can do it
You know,
quick.
Carson, tell me which of these 3 you think is the most interesting.
The top, wait, these
So that one's just. I'm trying to figure out which one would be more interesting for your clickbait.
For the clickbait.
Yeah.
the top one would be definitely the
Top
most
one?
interesting
Okay,
for the
okay.
clickbait.
So filmmaking terms, right?
Mm.
Here's my hot take. Sex scenes are unnecessary the majority of the time in film. And here's my thought process behind it, all right? It's not like it's unnecessary the entire time. I think that in terms of narrative, there's reasons to show a sex scene. One specific example, it's not even like an intimate scene. I think of like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, because there's the climax of the film where Jason Segela's character gets back with his ex, and it's like literally mid blowjob that he finally realizes he doesn't want to be with her anymore. But it's like it's important for in like a narrative sense of like that's when he's coming to that realization, and that he had to be intimate with her for him to realize he doesn't want that anymore. But a lot of the times I feel like when we watch like sex scenes in film and stuff, it's for pure spectacle. It's just purely to go, hey, we were able to get this actress naked in this film, and we just thought it'd be good to show it. When I think that there's ways to write around these sex scenes without having to actually show anything at all. I think there's ways to imply it. I think there's ways to like keep especially actors clothed, especially when you don't have an intimacy coordinator on set.
Yeah.
But
so are you saying like all sex scenes, or like
I'm saying
sex
the
scenes where it
majority.
shows nudity?
I'm saying the majority of sex scenes.
Because like I'd argue that
I guess
having the
with
sex
nudity.
scene is like it may, for some directors, it may be like the gratuitous, nudity of it. That's what they want. That's what they like. You could argue Euphoria, like what, Sydney Sweeney doesn't need to be showing her tits every fucking episode.
Yeah.
But it's normally the peak of the romantic, saga is the sex scene. That you can't go much farther.
Yeah, but it's
than
like,
that.
can we get that implication from like passionate like kissing and stuff like that without having to actually see them go fully naked? That's where I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's really like, I'm just saying sometimes I feel like it's just for the sake of spectacle. And again, I think a lot of films, there is like a necessity to it, especially in the way that the story is being told. Another great example I think of is like Wolf of Wall Street, right? Not saying that like Margot Robbie needed to be fully naked for that film, but like like strippers that they would bring to the office and like a lot of that stuff, it's necessary because they're trying to show he's trying to show the insanity of that of this corporation. But like I said, and I think Margot Robbie is a very attractive woman. Did she need to be fully naked in the film for everything to be told, for her part of the story to be told?
So I was looking into the camera for anybody watching.
No, but you get what I mean though. It's just like, did it need to be told that way?
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. I think that there was a poll. It's something like 65%, maybe 70% of Gen Z just doesn't like sex scenes, and maybe that a lot of that's coming from like growing up. You watch films with your parents, and if it comes on, you don't know what to do.
Dude,
like,
I watched Deadpool with my dad at 14. Dude, he was trying to throw a blanket over my head.
Yeah, I watched the entire of the all 3 seasons of The Boys with my mom.
Oh man, that's
and then you get to Herogasm.
Four seasons of The Boys.
Sorry. You get to Herogasm, and you're like, I watched that show with my parents.
I do too.
I saw that episode was coming up. I went, I'm gonna watch this episode by myself, guys. We'll reconvene after the next one. And then honestly, it wasn't that fucking crazy of an episode, but still, I would rather watch that by myself than with my parents.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think that a lot. Yeah, if you can show it in some other way, like have them hold hands or walk down the street or go to like on a date somewhere, like there's other ways to show it.
And then just have them like wake up in the bed together the next morning.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That insinuates it.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's plenty of, I mean, also there's a whole thing with like movies and like when movies were starting out like in the 50s, they couldn't actually show. There was censors on that.
It was part of it was to just be an FU to the Hays Code. And,
yeah. They did a lot of but there was also like a lot of innuendos. Like there was I forget what movie it is, but there's a scene where it's like a guy and a girl and they're like in their bedroom. They like close the door and then it cuts to like a woman putting like a gas into her car and it's like inserting it into the thing. So it was just trying to like do an innuendo. Like they had sex.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like that's kind of funny and creative. Like if you're doing stuff like that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I think? I think you're both prudes.
That's true. maybe. Also, I mean, we did have an intimacy coordinator on the show, and she did say like, "Hey, like, I need sex scenes. I don't have a job otherwise." So
no, like I said, I don't think they're unnecessary. I just think that a lot of the times the way they're written is like just for the sake of let's have these actors have sex on the screen because
there's also like definitely an issue of like women being there's a disparity with that. I think if you like look at movies with like female nudity over male nudity, it's like slanted so far towards female
and a lot
nudity.
of male nudity they use like prosthetic penises.
Exactly.
So it's just like they're not even really showing anything except for their bare chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe their buttocks.
Their buttocks. Yes.
Well, I don't know. If I was an actor, I'd show dong.
You would hang dong. You would hang dong. Yes. God.
It'd be. I don't know. It's just funny. I don't give a fuck.
All right, Jake, start writing that scene right now.
I actually have a script for you. Yeah.
You have a script for me. It's
called The Big Slick.
The Big Slick.
Yes.
What's
big
that
dick.
insinuating?
The big cock. Alrighty.
I have one more hot take on filmmaking. If you want one more.
Do you have time for that, Carson?
If
we
what time
speed run it?
Wrap?
Probably like now.
Oh, okay. Well then.
We could do it real quick. quick.
Okay. I wish Owen was here for this one. Production design is severely underrated and is often more important than cinematography. And
yay.
Yeah.
Can we say yay or nay?
Yeah.
Yay.
Nay, because cinematography can make wherever they're shooting look good.
Except like if there's no fucking production design.
But like if they're in like an already like made bar.
Here's my
are you saying like if there's a white room?
Yeah, white room.
Well, then obviously production design is gonna be fucking more important.
I work a job where I've had to shoot in a couple of like white or like rooms where like there's no fucking like decoration or anything, and I'm looking at the footage. I'm like, I know I did fine with like the cinematography side of things, but if they just put a little bit of fucking production design in it, it would have made a huge difference. But I want you to bring this up to Owen on the podcast next episode.
We've talked about it in person too.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he would agree with that, but like biggest sign of an indie film is like lack of shit in the background, like decorations.
Yeah.
Like if you go to an Airbnb and you film there, like it looks fake because all the stuff is like clean and like put in perfect spots. So it's definitely an art.
Well, as Owen Carr, you know, that's me. Remember, I am Owen Carr. I introduced myself as Owen Carr.
Yes.
I disagree. Nay.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of IndieFilm Insider. Carson, Ryan, where can they find you guys if they want to?
You can find me on Instagram at carson.bain, Bain.
And you can find me on Instagram at Ryan Sagun Media. I also do films with these guys.
Yes. He drives for an hour and a half every time to come up here.
Yeah,
sometimes more. So
yeah,
truly a hero of the people.
That just tells you no one in my fucking hometown I like anymore.
So give this video a like to approve Ryan's travels.
I hope we generated some good clips for you today.
We hopefully did. Yes,
yeah, I definitely got you some clickbait titles towards the end.
Yeah, exactly. So if you like the content, like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode. And check out last week's episode. We did, actually not last week because we've skipped a couple weeks. What was our last episode?
It was 9 hot takes.
Yes, 9+.
We're doing 2 hot takes in a row.
Yep, because we have no content otherwise. So
also, I gotta just say this one time because it's happened every podcast. Podcast.
All right.
There we go.
Whoa, look at that.
Magic. We have.
All right, Carson.